Enduring the agonizing pain of a difficult labor, the mother humpback pushes. The baby's tail finally emerges, but because the calf is so huge, the excruciating pain leaves the mother almost completely exhausted. Meanwhile, the scent of the birth attracts the attention of 30 male humpback whales. While the mother is in absolute agony, these males start fighting viciously over mating rights. Feeling completely helpless and desperate, the mother almost gives up, but a sudden, strong kick from inside her womb snaps her right back to reality. 30 massive males are aggressively eyeing her from behind. Giving birth underwater gives the mother whale no leverage. She has to use every last ounce of her strength. Pushing through the unimaginable pain, she finally clears the way for her baby. At last, a massive baby whale is born. The little guy knows how to swim right away, but he can't breathe on his own just yet. His mom uses her body to gently lift him to the surface for his very first breath. For now, the newborn relies completely on his mother's milk to survive. Humpback whale milk is incredibly rich in fat. For context, human milk has only a fraction of that amount. The baby whale needs hundreds of pounds of milk every single day. Thanks to this high-calorie diet, the calf gains several pounds every single hour. But this also means the mother has to constantly convert her own body fat into rich milk. While the shallow waters of Hawaii are a perfect nursery, there is absolutely no food here for adult humpbacks. So the calf needs to pack on a thick layer of fat within just 5 weeks. Then he must follow his mom up north to the cold, food-rich waters. Suddenly, a pod of fierce predators appears. Knowing killer whales, this is going to be a highly coordinated, ruthless hunt. The orcas can't take down the 40-ton mother, so her vulnerable calf becomes their primary target. Mom quickly puts the baby on her back and swings her massive 15-foot pectoral fins to fight them off. These seemingly simple slaps pack over 20 tons of force. It's enough to knock out or even severely injure an orca, but killer whales have incredible teamwork. Some will pretend to attack to distract the mother while the others ram them from the side. The moment the calf is separated from its mom, the orcas forcefully push it deep underwater to drown it. As the ocean's ultimate apex predators, orcas show absolutely no mercy. The 2-day-old calf, tragically, becomes nothing more than a meal for the killer whales. The heartbroken mother is forced to watch her baby get torn apart, completely powerless to stop it. That kind of soul-crushing grief is something only she will ever truly understand. But the orcas aren't even doing this just for food. They often hunt to train their teamwork. After taking just the tongue of the baby whale, they abandon the carcass and swim away. This tragic loss, however, provides a massive feast for the rest of the ocean. The baby's remains are devoured by swarms of sharks until nothing but bones are left behind. The mother humpback is left utterly devastated, but the cruel laws of nature won't give her a moment to grieve. With her baby gone, her body stops producing milk, ending her nursing phase. She almost immediately enters her mating season, and the eager males try to catch her attention with their beautiful songs. Male humpbacks are some of the most famous singers in the ocean, and their songs aren't just random noise. A complete song lasts about 30 minutes and consists of 6 to 8 distinct themes. Each theme features a series of short phrases. Incredibly, across the entire globe, all males sing the exact same song, and every 2 years they all collectively change the tune in perfect, worldwide sync like a massive choir. This music can travel for thousands of miles. The female can listen to the tone of the song to judge the male's health and decide if he's a worthy mate. But the female is clearly playing hard to get and wants more options. She repeatedly breaches, sending out a challenging signal, and violently slaps the water. The thunderous sound travels for miles. On top of that, she releases hormone-rich scents that can drift across hundreds of miles of ocean. No male humpback can resist this intense invitation. They all swim frantically toward her exact location. A single female in heat can easily draw in over 30 eager males. What started as a romantic date instantly turns into absolute chaos. But this is all part of her master plan. Not every male gets the privilege to mate. Once she has gathered a large enough crowd, the ultimate test of courtship finally begins. First, she swims away at top speed, forcing the pack of males into a high-speed chase. This exhausting marathon quickly weeds out the old, the weak, and the sick. The remaining contenders then engage in brutal combat. Their massive pectoral fins are covered in sharp barnacles, so every single swipe deals massive damage. They lift their heavy tails high into the air, bringing them down with bone-crushing force. They ram each other and forcefully block rivals from getting anywhere near the female. If a male manages to take the lead, he will blow a wall of bubbles like a smokescreen, blinding his competitors and completely messing up their rhythm. After all this relentless screening, the male closest to her wins the right to mate. But even then, you can't really call it a total victory for him. After mating, the female doesn't just get pregnant immediately. She actually stores the sperm inside her. After mating with several different males, she secretly picks the very best genes. So you could say this chaotic battle has no true winner. But in a way, none of them really lost either. Now loaded up with what she needs, the female humpback kicks off her long migration. Along the journey, her body selects the strongest, most active sperm to fertilize the egg, and the successful embryo actually delays its growth. After a grueling 1-month, 3,000-mile swim, she finally reaches the freezing waters of Alaska. April to July is peak feeding season here. After starving for half a year, the humpbacks can finally gorge themselves. Now that she has plenty of food, the embryo in her womb finally begins to grow. This also means she has to make the long trip back to the tropics to give birth all over again. By March of the following year, the mother returns to the warm tropical waters of Hawaii. Enduring the extreme pain of labor, she successfully welcomes another calf into the world. Remembering the heartbreaking tragedy from last year, she is incredibly cautious this time. Except when coming up for air, she constantly hides deep near the ocean floor to stay out of sight from killer whales. Even while sleeping, she tucks her baby safely underneath her. She knows she needs to fatten her baby up as fast as possible. The massive fat reserves she built up during her summer feast are now her lifeline. She rapidly converts this fat into high-calorie milk to nurse her calf. The newborn whale needs about 300 pounds of milk a day just to survive. Right now, the baby is packing on 80 to 100 pounds every single day. Between migrating and giving birth, the mother hasn't eaten in nearly 5 months. To keep her body running, she needs to take her baby back to their feeding grounds right away. But this long journey is exactly what terrifies the mother the most. Orcas are the ultimate rulers of the ocean. They live in tight-knit family pods and hunt with terrifying intelligence. Once they lock onto a target, escape is almost impossible. The mother knows that once they leave the safety of the shallow waters, she and her baby will be in constant danger. But if they want to survive and eat, they have no choice but to risk it. Their only real way to stay safe is to hide in the deep ocean. They have to surface for air every 5 minutes. Even the faint sound of their blowholes can be deadly. A pod of orcas can hear that sound from over 12 miles away and track down their prey. The mother humpback is slowed down by her calf and exhausted from nursing. They have fallen to the very back of the migration pod. Just as the mother stops to nurse her baby, over a dozen orcas lock onto them, charging at 25 miles per hour. They are coming right for the mother and calf. Sensing the danger, the mother immediately lifts her calf onto her back to keep it safe and calls out for help. This is the exact same pod of orcas that killed a calf earlier. With the killers vastly outnumbering her, the exhausted mother has no choice but to fight back. She fiercely swings her barnacle-covered pectoral fins, but she is completely overwhelmed. The orcas take turns attacking her. This relentless tag team strategy is designed to completely drain her energy. The orcas can clearly sense that the mother humpback is getting weaker. Watching the killers close in, the mother has to push her baby out of the water, using her own body as a shield. After 3 brutal hours of fighting, the odds are completely against her, and she has almost given up. But just as the orcas move in for the kill, a massive male humpback hears her cries and rushes in to save them. The orcas dare not fight a full-grown male head-on, so they switch tactics. Orcas live in a matriarchy, where the oldest female calls the shots. She sends out a low-pitched command, ordering the entire pod to retreat. Seeing the danger has passed, the male humpback dives back into the deep. They part ways, but little do they know, this was a classic decoy trap. The mother and calf are in deadly peril once again. The orcas seize the opportunity. They isolate the baby and use a sound that mimics the mother's call to confuse the newborn. The baby trusts the sound completely and swims away with the orcas. The moment it leaves its mother's sight, the killers reveal their true nature and immediately launch a vicious attack on the calf. But then, The cries make the diving male humpback turn right back around. His return completely breaks the deadlock. The orcas, who were just about to kill, scatter in panic, with a third humpback joining the fight. The situation flips once again. The male rears up and swings his multi-ton tail, slapping the water violently. The splashing creates a huge cloud of bubbles, acting like a smokescreen that blinds the orcas. Thanks to the help of these two companions, the mother and calf barely escape with their lives. After this terrifying encounter, the mother does not dare to linger, taking her baby. They sprint day and night toward their feeding grounds. To navigate the endless ocean, humpback whales have evolved a perfect navigation system. They have cells containing magnetite that can sense the Earth's magnetic field and its inclination. Following magnetic contour lines, they determine their position and direction. They also use the sun and stars to constantly calibrate their heading. This precise navigation mechanism ensures their margin of error never exceeds 1 degree. But aside from avoiding orca attacks, humpbacks face many other hidden dangers. Every year, over 1 million tons of fishing nets and lines are dumped into the ocean. One female humpback has her tongue completely tangled in fishing line. The line has cut deep into her flesh. With every single stroke of her tail, she feels an agonizing, piercing pain. Since last year's migration, she has eaten almost nothing. She is so weak that even coming up for air has become a luxury because she cannot move freely. Her entire body is infested with barnacles. Without outside help, she will very likely die within a week. Predators can sense how incredibly weak she is, circling around ready to feast on her. But humpbacks never fight alone. Through her distress calls, she cries out to her friends nearby. A massive male humpback swims in, slapping his tail to drive off the surrounding predators. What happens next completely defies our understanding of humpback whales. The male uses his own body to physically lift the female to the surface. Their emotional intelligence is comparable to a 10-year-old child. He simply cannot watch his companion die in agony, so he stays by her side the whole time, desperately fighting to keep her alive. 2 months later, the mother and calf, after surviving endless dangers, finally reach the feeding grounds. Starving and dizzy, the mother has lost tons of body weight while the calf, thriving on high-fat milk, has grown substantially from its original weight into a very heavy baby. After starving for months, the mother desperately needs food to refuel. Summer in Alaska, influenced by the polar regions, gets nearly 24 hours of sunlight a day, causing phytoplankton to explode in numbers. Fish and krill are also booming, but actually catching them is no easy task. The fish gather in huge schools and are incredibly agile. Just lunging at them with brute force burns more energy than it gains. To feast effortlessly and fill their bellies, they must work together perfectly. The pod lines up in a specific order and dives as a group. Once they reach the right depth, the lead humpback does something amazing. It uses its blowhole to blow a continuous stream of bubbles underwater, swimming in a circle around the school of fish. The rising bubbles act like a natural net. The timid fish would never dare cross this barrier. Panicking, they cluster tightly in the center, darting around frantically. When the bubbles pack the fish densely together, the pod opens their massive jaws and lunges upward. The humpback whale's mouth is big enough to swallow a car whole in a single gulp, along with seawater in. Fish, they swallow up to 8 tons. The seawater is quickly squeezed out through the gaps in their baleen plates, trapping all the fat, juicy fish inside. Each whale can eat 2 tons of fish a day. That is about 3,600,000 calories. Relying on this abundant feast, the mother, who starved for 7 months, quickly regains her strength. In 4 months, they will once again embark on their migration to Hawaii, giving everything she has to raise her calf. This deep-sea motherly love continues generation after generation, through life and death, never fading. But the humpback trapped in the fishing line never made it to the feeding grounds. Her companion actually found a rescue team. With human help, they managed to cut away the tangled nets, but the ropes had already caused a severe wound infection. Given the massive size difference between humans and humpbacks, conventional medical treatments were completely impossible. According to the rescue team, she would very likely die from her injuries soon after a grand whale fall was about to unfold.